This is the evening news for Wednesday, October 9, 2013. I'm Afanash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, Captain Govaya says non-existing direct flights a blow to economy. Key stakeholders say UG needs urgent restructuring as it turns 50. Closed vendor remanded for selling weed at Guy Expo. GCOM says assent of local government bills has nothing to do with elections. And the PVPC lambastes Nagamutu says APNU AFC having backdoor meetings. Now for the news in detail. Businessman within the aviation industry, Captain Jerry Govaya, says the recent decision by the United States Department of Transportation to deny certain air carriers direct flights between Guyana and New York is quote-unquote a serious blow to Guyana as a whole. Leanna Bradshaw reports.
Weighing in on the matter of non-existent direct flights from Guyana to New York, Captain Jerry Govaya said the refusal by the United States Department of Transportation to grant such is questionable. The department's decision now means that both Fly Jamaica and Caribbean Airlines will have to stop in their respective countries of registration before continuing to the United States.
Because this is not just a decision to stop these airlines, this is a decision to stop the expansion of the Guyanese economy by having direct flights, by having access to our tourism product, investors coming directly to Guyana and so on. And we don't have an alternative. If we had an alternative, then it could probably be justified. But it's not like if there's another airline, another American airline or somebody doing this thing directly.
He is therefore urging the government of Ghana and the U.S. Embassy to join in efforts to lobby the refusal of the move, since there is currently no other alternatives for local passengers wishing to ply the route non-stop. Govaya also reasoned that established airlines such as Fly Jamaica and Caribbean Airlines are the ones that should be granted such privileges.
We may eventually get charter services flying directly to Guyana, but charter services continue to put our flying public in an unstable situation, because we never know when they will stop. The thing with established airlines is that they bring a particular level of reliability to the marketplace, and this is what we need.
Meanwhile, according to a government official, the matter is being addressed at the level of Parliament. The official said although the airlines have already applied for permission for direct flights, there cannot be continued back and forth on the matter. All U.S.-bound Fly Jamaica flights will have to continue stopping in Kingston, Jamaica, while all U.S.-bound Caribbean Airlines flights will have to stop in Trinidad and Tobago before proceeding. The decision handed down by the U.S. Transportation Department is a big win for a number of U.S. airlines that protested the application on the grounds that the move could provide unfair competition and was against U.S. aviation policy. For the Evening News, Leanna Bradshaw.
Meanwhile, the director of Fly Jamaica, Roxanne Reese, says if Guyanese can't petition to have direct flights, then there might just be a possibility that consideration will be taken on the matter by the U.S. Whitney Prasad reports.
Fly Jamaica's Roxanne Reese says that the airline has already made an appeal to the governing bodies in the U.S. for permission to be granted to the company to offer direct flights from Guyana to New York. The airline's director said that since the United States Department of Transportation declined its application, the company has been exploring other avenues to make direct flights a reality. She said that had it not been for issues surrounding CAL's operations, Fly Jamaica would have not have any problems with obtaining permission to fly direct routes. While the Fly Jamaica boss is unsure of the company's position in this regard, a hopeful Reese said that if Guyanese can petition to have direct flights, then there might just be a possibility that consideration will be taken on the matter by the U.S. Only last Saturday, CAL's airport manager Carl Stewart told this newscast during an exclusive interview that the operations of the company would not be affected in any way by the U.S. State Department's decision. However, he did not say whether the company would be fighting to have direct flights included on their schedules to suit some customers. The denial will leave Guyanese without a direct flight option to New York. The last such option was provided by Delta Airlines, which pulled out of Guyana in May this year without fully explaining why. For the Evening News, Whitney Prasad.
President of the University of Guyana Senior Staff Association and long-serving lecturer at the Faculty of Agriculture, Dr. Patsy Francis, says there is an urgent need for government and other parties to fix the current state of the tertiary institution. Here's Samuel Suknandan with the details.
Dr. Patsy Francis said as UG celebrates 50 years of existence, there is much to be proud of, but there are still many issues which needs to be ironed out in order for the university to improve its standards. The UG SSA head said that government needs to rethink its policy, especially as it relates to the retention of students who would have completed studies with the university.
The government must also decide what sort of university they really want to have. How relevant is the kind of university we have now as against the kind that will be important in the development of a small economy such as ours, what the focus should be on. And I believe that conversation has not gone on sufficiently, so that there is a major disconnect between the university and the country.
Dr. Francis said that the monies promised to the university were never transferred, and unless this is done, only then it would be in a better position to regulate and improve its finances at all levels.
The whole country needs to take responsibility for the university, and to this end, there needs to be some amounts of money coming from taxpayers, either from the VAT or through a special tax. I'm not recommending increased taxation, but just as some relief was given to persons in housing, similarly, some new measure can be put in place that some 1% off of gold or of 1.05% or something be placed in the university in strategic places.
The UG senior lecturer reiterated that government has a major role to play in making these things possible, along with the private sector and other stakeholders. President Donald Ramotar recently said that his government is committed to ensuring that the university progresses, but said that this would take a collective approach by all parties to make UG a 21st century university. There have been many criticisms about the political interference at UG, which critics believe is creating major setbacks for the entity. The university currently faces millions of dollars in debts, has very few qualified lecturers, and has a poor infrastructure. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan.
A clothes vendor was today remanded to prison after she appeared before Magistrate Fabio Azor at the Jerso Magistrates Court to answer to a possession of narcotics charge. 28-year-old Candace Brown of Lot 119 Caesar Street, Agricola, East Bank, Demerara, pleaded not guilty to the charge, which stated that on October 6 at a Sapphire Exhibition Center, she had in her possession 20 grams of cannabis for the purpose of trafficking. Brown was seen by police ranks at Gayexpo collecting money from persons and in return giving them something from a black plastic bag. The ranks approached her and conducted a search. Leaves, seeds and stems which were suspected to be cannabis were found in the bag. Attorney Paul Fungafat told the court that the substance found 15 feet away from his client and that she was indeed collecting money, but it was not for cannabis. Prosecutor Hunt objected to bail, stating that there was no special reasons put forward. Bail was refused and the matter stands adjourned to October 23. The Caribbean Agricultural Extension Providers Network was launched today, and it is focused on promoting better services in agriculture throughout the region. Here's Samuel Suknanan with the details.
Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy underscored the importance of agriculture while pointing to the fact that much has been achieved over the years through research and the implementation of better policy initiatives. The minister described the network as a critical one in developing the agriculture sector, as it will ensure that extension services are significantly evolved.
More recently, the Jack Dale initiative that we all endorsed as countries reiterated that notion. 50 years ago, when Cheddi Jagan made that argument, we embraced it, but we walked the walk very little. We talked the talk well, but we walked the walk little. And one example of how we failed, even though we embraced the notion, is the fact that the University of the West Indies, our premier training institution, would take agriculture and move it into a sub-program rather than a major program. And I'm glad that we now have corrected that.
Dr. Ramsamy pointed to the many successes that came from networking organizations such as the Ghana Rice Producers Association, among others. He believes that once enough effort is placed into making the network relevant to the agricultural needs of the region, then it will bear good fruits.
I am glad that we in the Caribbean understand now that human resources for agriculture is a critical element in a sustainable development program for the Caribbean. And we ignore that imperative at our peril. At a time when we are looking at our development and sustainability in the face of insecurity.
The organizers were also charged by the minister to ensure that the extension network becomes one of the most effective in the region. In addition, Minister Ramsamy also committed to ensuring full participation of Ghana's extension officers in ensuring that effectiveness of the network. The network is an organization comprising of extension services providers from the Antigua and Barbados, Belize, Grenada, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucian governments. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan.
Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Elections Commission, GECOM, Vishnu Prasad, has sought to clarify that the hosting of local government elections is not dependent on the President's assent to the 4 local government bills, as is being reported in the media. We have more from Leanna Bradshaw.
Public Relations Officer of GECOM, Vishnu Prasad, has said that the assent by President Donald Ramotar to the 4 local government bills that were recently passed in Parliament has nothing to do with the Commission's mandate in conducting local government elections. He made this comment today during a telephone interview with this newscast. Prasad explained that following the passage of the Local Authorities Elections Amendment Act No. 26 of 2009 bill, the way has been cleared for the hosting of local government elections. The bill, he explained, clears the way for GECOM to carry out the mandate of hosting local government elections through the introduction of a new system. The new system under which the elections will be held are the proportional representation and first past the post. Prasad also added that the contesting would not be the same, but said the procedure of voting remains the same as the general and regional elections. He said a work plan consisting the possible budgeting to carry out the hosting of the elections has already been drafted. While there is an estimated budget outlined for the hosting of the elections, Prasad said the dynamics can change, resulting in a change in the draft. Hence, in the event that GECOM is called upon to host the elections, it would only have to revisit the plan, make changes, then implement it. Prasad further explained that if there is a clash between local government and general and regional elections, the latter will take precedence. Local government elections would then be arranged for 3 months thereafter. The 4 local government bills are the Municipal and District Councils Bill, the Fiscal Transfers Bill, the Local Government Commission Bill, and the Local Government Amendment Bill, which were passed in the National Assembly and have been sent to the Attorney General's chambers by the Clerk of the National Assembly, Sherlock Isaacs. For the Evening News, Leanna Bradshaw.
More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching the Evening News. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Health Minister Dr. Barry Ramsaran says that the opposition has been misinformed about the spending of monies to construct a specialty hospital. Whitney Prasad explains.
Health Minister Dr. Barry Ramsaran believes that the combined opposition has been misinformed about the facts pertaining to the financing of the specialty hospital. The minister said that it is government's view that when clarified, all misconceptions will be brushed aside as it relates to the technicalities of the project. The health minister said that government has already been exhausting different avenues to continue the establishment of the state-of-the-art facility. Government is still at the stage and hopeful that the legal aspects will be addressed and the construction can be restarted soon once the Auditor General's record and spending towards the project is clarified. Meanwhile, he assured us that steps are being taken to enhance the services of CHI as it continues to play a critical role in providing cardiac care services to Guyanese. This would have been the main focus of the specialty hospital. During this year's budget debate, a $1.2 billion provision for the controversial hospital was cut by the opposition. For the Evening News, Whitney Prasad.
Meanwhile, General Manager Ravi Ramcharitar has disclosed that new GPC Inc. has added over 80 new products to its range since 1999. He said that this list of products is growing each year, while explaining that the most famous of these products was launched within 2 years of the company's privatization in 2001, when it started to produce generic HIV/AIDS antiretrovirals, ARVs, at below $360 annually to treat one patient, compared with the $5,000 to $10,000 then being charged by the large American manufacturers. Ramcharitar said that at the time, the Ministry of Health and the people of Guyana were basically on their own and without external help when it came to HIV and AIDS. He explained that the new GPC Inc. was able to manufacture the ARVs by partnering with Indian companies such as Matrix, noting that this unrecognized but bold initiative allowed the government to treat Guyanese HIV/AIDS patients free before its more developed neighbors in CARICOM. The new GPC remains the only Caribbean company to produce ARVs. One day after the brutal stabbing to death of an Enterprise man, the police have launched a manhunt for the suspect, who has been identified as Ado Boy, a U.S. deportee. Bishar Muhammad reports.
Chatyagun Prasad, also called Fat Boy of Lot 458 Church Street Enterprise, was stabbed once to his chest by the suspect before running some distance and collapsing on the parapet beside Marigold Street. The incident occurred at IMAX Housing Scheme Enterprise, East Coast Demerara, a short distance from where the man is constructing his home. From reports received, the man was on his way to order some hollow blocks when he was attacked by the man who was hiding in a clump of bushes. A relative of the dead man told the Evening News what she knew of the incident.
Well, between 5:36, my sister called me and she told me that her husband was fatally stabbed on the road. And I keep talking to her until I reach with her. And when I went there, the police was there, other media was there, and she was squealing and crying uncontrollably on the road. And I saw him lying there. He was lying there all the time. The police, nobody couldn't touch him. But when the police really touched him, when they turned him over, he was in a pool of blood, and it appeared to me that was one stab wound because the police took his finger and inserted it on his left side, right? Left side, and we can see the stab wound was very deep.
She also explained what might have triggered the suspect to commit the crime.
He always goes to the house that my sister is now constructing. My sister don't want him there because he's a smoky. And she would talk to her husband, and apparently my brother-in-law would ask him not to come here because my wife don't want you here. Yesterday, apparently because he wasn't getting to go in, there was a zinc gate, I think they have, he pushed it down. He went in and he was trying to start a fire when my brother-in-law left there.
Meanwhile, Christine Prasad, daughter of the dead man, stated that she was at classes when she received a call from her mother, who told her about the incident. She reiterated that the man and her father are always at loggerheads. The murder weapon was not retrieved, but the police are continuing their investigations. Bishar Mohammed, The Evening News.
The state-of-the-art Jagans Dental Center was commissioned by President Donald Ramotar in the presence of government ministers, opposition members, top officials, family and friends on Tuesday evening. Here's Sabatini Daniels with the details.
The new multi-million-dollar Jagan Dental Facility, which is owned by Dr. Clive Jagan and his sons Drs. Kyle, Shane and Ian, is expected to promote dental tourism in Guyana and is what the family members described as a dream come true. Speaking at the ceremonial opening, the senior Jagan said the center adds to the professional dental landscape of the country. He said the dental service provided at the center will be afforded at a fraction of the cost abroad.
Guyanese in the diaspora and foreigners abroad in general are encouraged to take full advantage of the price differentials. We would like the government to highlight this emerging health subsector and to facilitate its growth and development.
President Donald Ramotar said this move is important in carrying on the family tradition, adding that he hopes that this venture will be an example for other professional entrepreneurs to follow.
I know that you're thinking in the same way as the government has been thinking for some time now, because as you know, that we were planning to do a hospital. We had some setback with some cuts in the budget, but we're going to rectify that. And we are hoping also to have medical tourism in our country. So we are on the same page as that is concerned.
The center will be offering a wide range of services in all fields, including general extraction, cleaning, filling, whitening of teeth, crowns, and bridges. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
And Prime Minister Samuel Hinds last evening launched QualiTest, a new medical testing facility in the country, which was developed by Chief Executive Officer Yvette Irving. Here are details.
Speaking at the launching of QualiTest, Prime Minister Samuel Hinds said the company is expected to raise the level of medical laboratories and overall services in the country. He noted that medical services are vital in the country since health is the most important asset to all humans.
I think we have the need for these services at this time, and more in particular, we are concerned that the quality level be steadily improved. The issue of accuracy and precision.
Meanwhile, the CEO, Yvette Irving, said the company has established a system that provides for the continuous monitoring and evaluation of its workflow. She also added that this system was designed to fulfill and maintain compliance with local standards, ethics, and regulations.
We at QualiTest define quality as the guarantee that each and every step in our total testing process is correctly performed by competent personnel using validated equipment and methods, thus assuring valuable and safe medical decision-making, leading to effective patient care.
The agency is equipped with a technical staff who are all females. Its motto is precision and professionalism for a healthy life. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
A 25-year-old mechanic was today sentenced to 36 months imprisonment after he appeared before Magistrate Judy Latchman to answer to the charge of simple larceny. Wendell Thurton pleaded guilty to the charge, which read on October 6 at Tugville, Georgetown. He stole one Kindle valued $55,000, the property of Anil Matheson, from her dwelling house. Prosecutor Vishnu Hunt said that the complainant secured her home and left, leaving the Kindle in her room. At around 20 hours 30, the complainant's brother-in-law, the defendant, and 4 other men went to the house to remove some of her sister's furniture. Upon returning, Madison found the article missing and made a report to the police station. Prosecutor Hunt also made an application for the article to be returned to its owner. Magistrate Latchman considered the fact that Thurton pleaded guilty at first instance and the prevalence of this offence in society before she made the ruling. More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching the Evening News. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. The People's Progressive Party Civic has accused the Alliance for Change, the AFC, and a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, for conspiring against the government through the holding of backdoor talks. This, it said, is evident in the AFC's Moses Nagamutu and APNU's Joseph Harmon threatening to move a confidence vote against the administration. Details in this report.
The People's Progressive Party Civic has dismissed threats of a no-confidence motion against its administration by AFC parliamentarian Moses Nagamutu and APNU parliamentarian Joseph Harmon. The ruling party, in a release, said it views Nagamutu's statements as reckless and irresponsible and shows that he is speaking on behalf of opposition leader David Granger and the APNU. The PPPC believes it is too coincidental that even as Nagamutu and the AFC are threatening to move a vote of no confidence against the government, the APNU's Harmon is making similar statements by suggesting that the PPP is on its way out. It also made reference to the recent revelation that AFC Party Treasurer Dominique Gaskin, who is Granger's son-in-law, was admitted by the leadership of the AFC. Like Nigel and Kathy Hughes' association with Site Global, Gaskin's relationship with the APNU leader was a well-guarded secret, it added. The PPPC is therefore calling on all Guyanese, especially stakeholders and supporters of the AFC, to be cognizant of this deception being played out between the two opposition parties. The PPP has also accused Nagamutu of racial profiling as he sought to rate a cartoon drawing as racist. His sentiments on the drawing, it said, shows him seeing the criminal in the drawing as an African person, which therefore makes him guilty of racial profiling young Afro-Guyanese.
A commission from the OAS Mechanism for Follow-up on the Implementation of the Inter-American Convention Against Corruption, MECICIC, met with representatives of the Guyana Oversight and Civil Society bodies yesterday. The visit, for which the Government of Guyana gave permission, is part of the review process that the mechanism is carrying out. The meetings were held at Carroll Lodge. The commission is made up of representatives from Haiti and Trinidad and Tobago, as well as from the Department of Legal Cooperation of the Secretariat for Legal Affairs of the OAS, in its capacity as the Technical Secretariat of the MECICIC. The Ghana Post Office Corporation today celebrated World Post Day with much pomp and ceremony under the theme, "The Post Delivering for People and Businesses Daily." To mark the occasion, a number of new initiatives were also implemented. Here's Sabatini Daniels.
In commemoration of World Post Day, GPOC introduced its rebranded and improved payment software, InstaPay. Speaking at the special program hosted by GPOC to kick off the celebrations and to launch InstaPay, Customer Relations Officer of the agency, Tiffany Farrell, explained that InstaPay has the capacity to offer real-time bill payment and money transfer services at competitive rates.
Fully intends to be an active member of this technological arena. Our aim is to better serve our valued customers, and in this regard, the Guyana Post Office Corporation has partnered with Orion Financial Services to promote our bill payment platform.
Prime Minister Samuel Hines, who was present at the event, said he is aware that GPOC needs more money to function effectively. He disclosed that the rate of payment for persons who work in the post office is below what he would like it to be. Therefore, he called on the public to transact more businesses with the agency so it can have a steady flow of income.
The government receives no profits or dividends from the Post Office Corporation. In fact, it finds ways to support, open ways and less open ways to support the post office.
The GPOC also launched its first series of Guyana Women in Aviation stamp in honor of Cheryl Moore and Beverly Drake, who are Guyana's first commercial pilots. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
The Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, the IACHR, on Wednesday urged Caribbean countries that still have the death penalty to abolish it or at least to impose a moratorium on its application. In a message marking International Day Against the Death Penalty on Thursday, the IACHR said regional instruments for protection of human rights do not prohibit per se the imposition of the death penalty, but they establish specific restrictions and prohibitions regarding its application. The IACHR said it was urging countries to ratify the protocol to the American Convention on Human Rights to abolish the death penalty. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. Stay tuned. Sports, sponsored by MacCorp, is next. Welcome back to the Evening News. Now for a look at sport. In the headlines, coaches to benefit from Resource Centre, says Director of Sport. President's Cup Golf Tourney set for Saturday, and 7th Rightful Light billed for November 13 to 17. Now for the details. We start off with some cricket news. Guyanese left-hander Leon Johnson stroked a solid 81, but the West Indies A were dismissed with 268 on the opening day of the final test against India A. Johnson's knock was the highlight of the innings, as fellow Guyanese Asset footed in 47 and Narsingh Dinarain 35 were the only other batsmen to get going. Bowling for India A, Abhishek Nayar picked up 4 for 61, while Dawal Kulkarni had 3 for 60. Faced with a tricky 5 overs before the close, India A closed on 10 without loss. West Indies A lead the 3-match series 1-0. And the Sri Lankan batsman Tilakaratne Dilshan has announced his retirement from Test cricket. The 36-year-old made 16 Test centuries, including a career-best 193 against England at Lord's in 2011, and scored 5,492 runs in 87 Test matches. The opener, who made his debut in 1999 against Zimbabwe, will continue to play in the shorter 50-over and T20 formats. Local coaches stand to benefit tremendously from the newly constructed resource centre, where it is set for a ceremonial opening shortly. This is the assurance given by Director of Sport Neil Kumar. Details in this report. In an exclusive interview with this newscast earlier this week, the Director of Sport pointed out that the multi-million-dollar resource centre at Numprel Park will serve as a facility to help with coaches' development, among other major functions. According to Kumar, it is geared at ensuring local coaches receive the best possible training in a conducive environment.
I see that this country is sending out officials to games that the officials know little or nothing about the discipline they are going to. Coaches are going, and if you hear the report about the performance of the coaches, you will not believe it. So I think what the Resource Centre will do, I think Dr. Anthony must be feeling very proud. At the Resource Centre, we had a discussion yesterday. We will be employing a training officer. We will be employing someone also to administer the Resource Centre. And we would like to make sure, the National Sports Commission, the Ministry of Culture and Sport, would like to make sure that our coaches are properly trained.
The two-story building, which is located in the compound of the National Racquet Centre, will serve as a training facility for officials and administrators.
That Resource Centre will be really, really a learning ground. It really facilitates the development of coaches. And I also wanted to help young journalists. I wanted to help young sports organizers. I wanted to build better sports administrators, better umpires, better referees. And it will definitely give a better outlook towards the development and the people who will give leadership to sports. We need that resource center.
Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony echoed similar sentiments at a function recently, adding that it is the hope of the administration that the centre can evolve into a sports secretariat where the history and achievements of the various disciplines can be housed for future reference.
But we see this doing a number of things. One, coordinating our training that we have happening in the country, but also serving as a resource centre. And we think that if we work at this well, this resource center can be the foundation for us to now develop and build perhaps an institute in sports. I've heard what was said, and that is we want to professionalize people in sports. And that's an important thing. But you cannot professionalize if you don't qualify people and certify them.
The resource center, which is expected to be declared open shortly, was constructed at a cost of approximately 50 million Guyana dollars. It will provide direct employment for an estimated 25 persons. This newscast was also told that plans are in train to have 5 lawn tennis clay courts be laid at the eastern end of the compound. Now for some rugby news. After a one-year hiatus, the Banks DIH Sevens Rugby Championships will scrum off on Sunday at the National Park Rugby Field, with several teams set to do battle in the male and female action. In the men's segment, a total of 8 teams comprising Pepsi Hornets, the Guyana Defence Force and Yamaha Caribs A and B teams, the University of Guyana Wolves and a national representative under-19 team will do battle. On the distaff side, the ladies will be grouped into A and B squads along with the guest appearance of a representative Guyana Police Force under-17 team. After the traditional march past of the participating teams, senior officials of Banks DIH Limited and the Sport Ministry will address the players and assist in the presentation of prizes at the conclusion of the competition. Golf news. The stage is set for the second President's Cup golf tournament built for Saturday at the Lusignan Golf Course, with local players set to compete at a prestigious event organized to promote golf and sport tourism in Guyana. Here are details. His Excellency President Donald Ramotar, in whose honor the tournament has been named, is expected to tee off the event. The Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce and the Guyana Tourism Authority have recognized this sport targets a special niche, attracting members of the celebrity clan. As such, efforts are underway to sustain the tournament as a signature event on the local sports calendar. Organizers of the activity are assuring that special invitees and patrons will be treated to another spectacular day of golf, following much the same format as the inaugural tournament held last year. They're also optimistic that members of corporate Guyana and the diplomatic community would be part of the activities. Meanwhile, the course is being kept in tip-top shape. The fairways and roughs have been cut and the green is being sprinkled every night so the current dry season would not affect it. The Lusignan Golf Course comprises 9 holes and participants would be vying for lucrative prizes, including the player nearest to the pin and the longest drive, among others. Already 45 local participants have signed up for the amateur tournament, which has attracted sponsorship from Banks DIH Limited and Simacal Trading, CIDI, and Marketing and Distribution. Persons interested in participating in the tournament can call the Guyana Tourism Authority on 219-0094-6 or the Lusignan Golf Course on 220-5660 for more information. Registration for the tournament costs $4,000. And finally, some cycling news. The marquee event on the local cycling calendar, Ride for Life 5 Stage, will take place on November 13 to 17, covering a distance of 266 miles of the country's roadways. Like previous years, the race is expected to attract a large number of overseas riders. Details in this report. This newscast was able to confirm the dates on Tuesday after engaging key personnel close to the organizing body for the 7th annual event, which many thought would not have been held this year. The grueling race, which has attracted droves of foreign riders over the past 6 years, will be contested across the 3 counties of Guyana. After travelling to Berbice on November 13, the opening stage will be held the following day from Corriverton to New Amsterdam from 7 hours 30, covering a distance of 46.6 miles, while Stage 2 will be held on the same day from Rossignol to Georgetown from 14 hours, a distance of 60.4 miles. Stage 3, a 35-mile ride, will take place on November 15 from Wales to Parika from 9 hours, while the penultimate stage will be contested from 7 hours 30 the following day from Supernam to Suddy, covering a distance of 62 miles. The 5th and final stage, covering 62 miles as well, will commence in Linden at 8 hours 30 and finish in Georgetown on November 17. As was the case in previous years, the event will be held with the objectives of increasing awareness and knowledge about HIV and AIDS among participants and the general public, and increasing HIV/AIDS activism and volunteerism among the participants and inspiring them to become ambassadors in the fight against HIV and AIDS. In what was a record-breaking 2012 event, Team Coco's Jaime Ramirez emerged as the overall winner, clocking a record 9 hours, 46 minutes, 51 seconds. Meanwhile, leading local riders will converge at the National Park on Saturday for the 9th annual staging of the Hand in Hand Insurance Company Limited's 11-race cycling program, set to pedal off at 9 hours. Today's activities will be hosted around the inner circuit, with the feature event being the 35-lap Schoolboys and Invitational, which is set to attract the country's leading cyclists and their up-and-coming challengers. Michael Anthony will look to defend his title, having won last year's race in a time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, 22.05 seconds, but will face stiff competition from the likes of Alonso Graves, Robin Prasad, Paul de Nobrega and Marlon Williams, among others. Michael Cummins in the juveniles, Shamir Bakhsh in the veterans under 50, and Alfie Sunaram in the 12 to 14 boys and girls are the defending champions of their respective categories. Other races carded for the day are the BMX Open, 6 to 9, 9 to 12 and 12 to 14, mountain bikes, veterans over 50 and over 60. Senior officials of Hand in Hand Insurance Company Limited are expected to assist in the presentation of prizes at the conclusion of the day's activities, which are being organized by national coach Hassan Mohammed. And with that, we've come to the end of sport. Of course, you can find these stories and more in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgetown and Varens, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. Stay tuned. Your Bridge Reports next. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Now for a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Thursday, October 10 at 8 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Thursday, October 10 at 7 hours 35 for a period of 1.5 hours. And with that, we've come to the end of the Evening News for Wednesday, October 9, 2013. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.